Switching from a standard gamepad to an all-button controller can feel like a massive leap, especially if you are on a tight budget. You want faster inputs, but you definitely do not want to drain your bank account on a piece of plastic you might not even like. I am your host here at Tech Evaluator, and today we are breaking down the top 5 best leverless controllers for beginners in 2026. Number 1 on this list offers insane value, but before we jump into the ranking, here are 3 traps that will absolutely waste your money if you are not paying attention.
The first trap is the compatibility lie. So many beginners buy a cheap Hitbox controller on Amazon only to realize it does not work natively with their console, forcing them to buy a $50 adapter just to play. Always verify your platform first. Trap number 2 is the tiny layout trap. Some manufacturers make a small leverless controller that looks great in photos, but when it arrives, the buttons are so cramped that your wrists will be screaming after an hour of ranked matches. Third is the mushy switch trap. Real talk, you need crisp, fast actuation for fighting games. If the buttons feel like you are pressing into a wet sponge, you are going to drop your combos. Don't worry, every product on my top 5 passes this test perfectly. All right, enough talking, let's kick things off with number 5.
Kicking things off at number 5, the Sehawei Haute42 G13 is the absolute best choice if you are dead broke but still want a competitive edge. Honestly, this is an absolute steal at this price point. Coming in at just $49, this transparent acrylic pad is packed with value. It features a 1 millisecond delay and a 95% frame leak protection rate, which is wild for a budget board. People love it as a starter fight pad because it gives you that true arcade feel without the massive footprint. Plus, it has custom RGB lighting so you can make it look exactly how you want. Now, there are 2 minor catches. First, some users mention that the stock button feel is a bit plasticky, but here is the genius solution. The G13 is completely hot-swappable. You can pull the stock switches out and pop in your favorite mechanical keyboard switches with 0 soldering required. Second, going back to our adapter trap, if you play on PS5, this board will need a pass-through USB adapter plugged into it to avoid the 8-minute timeout. But for PC and PC-based platforms, it is plug-and-play perfection and the ultimate beginner platform to learn on. Sliding into the number 4 spot, the Haute42 C16 is for the player who wants premium customization without the premium price tag. Priced around $86, this controller steps up the build quality with a sleek mix of aluminum and acrylic. The coolest feature here is the magnetic panel design. You do not need a screwdriver to change your artwork. You just pop the back button and the panel lifts right off. It also features a tournament lock switch, so you won't accidentally hit the start button and get disqualified during a local tournament. The main limitation with this board is that the initial setup can be confusing. To configure it, you have to plug it into a PC and type an IP address into your web browser. I know that sounds like a headache for a beginner. However, the solution is simple. The community for this firmware is massive. You just watch a quick 3-minute video online, set your layouts once, and you never have to touch the web configurator again. Taking the bronze medal at number 3, the MAYFLASH F500 Flat is the ultimate multi-platform warrior. If you play on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and the Switch, this is the best bang for your buck, hands down. For about $79, you are getting a heavy, robust piece of hardware. It weighs over 2.6 kilograms because of its metal plates, meaning it is not going to slide off your lap when you are vigorously mashing out a super art. Users praise how solid it feels compared to hollow plastic competitors. One thing to keep in mind is the button size. A few buyers noted that the movement buttons feel slightly smaller than traditional arcade buttons, which can feel weird if you have massive hands. The easy workaround? The layout is spaced incredibly well, meaning your muscle memory adapts in about 2 days of playing. Plus, like all MAYFLASH products, it is highly moddable, so you can easily swap parts if you want to experiment later on. Coming in at number 2, the Razer Kitsune is the premium upgrade option for those who want to skip the beginner tier and jump straight into tournament-ready gear. Let's be real, at $219, it costs a pretty penny, but it's an investment. This pad was built specifically for the PS5 and PC, eliminating all adapter headaches. It uses Razer's low-profile linear optical switches, meaning the actuation is lightning fast. It is also incredibly slim. You can literally slide this into your backpack next to your laptop like a textbook. The biggest deal breaker for some people is simply the price, combined with the fact that the optical switches have a very unique feel compared to standard mechanical ones. Some users say they feel a bit sensitive at first. The solution is just to give it a week of practice. Because the travel distance is so short, once you get used to it, your execution speed will noticeably improve, especially for complex motions. And finally, taking the number 1 spot is the Hitbox F1. If you want the authentic, heavy-duty feel of a tournament arcade stick, but strictly in a leverless format, this is the ultimate undisputed champion. Starting around $100 for the PC version, the Hitbox F1 completely skips the tiny layout trap we talked about earlier. It features standard 24 and 30mm arcade buttons, spaced exactly like the legendary Hitbox layout. It is encased in a solid metal chassis with an acrylic top panel, giving you tons of room to rest your wrists during those marathon rank sessions. The limitation here? It is not going to fit in a small backpack
backpack like the Kitsune or the Haute42. This is a desk or lap controller meant to stay at your setup. But here's why it ranks number 1. It uses genuine Sehawei OBSF buttons right out of the box. You are getting the exact same premium tournament-grade hardware the pros use, with absolutely zero modding required. You can also order it with pre-installed PS5 compatibility boards, making it the perfect zero-headache final destination for any beginner.
And there you have it, the top 5 options to elevate your fighting game experience. If this video helped you figure out which controller is right for you, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. All the links to the products mentioned are down in the description below so you can check the latest prices. I will see you in the next review.